Alright, so hey, and welcome to the Q2 2020 update on this devlog of the Promised Land. This is covering the period of time that I developed this game between April and June in the year 2020, so just settling into that quarantine pandemic life. You can see my little roadmap, it starts here. I started out by finishing some multiplayer tightenings, which is multiplayer patching, and just various tightenings of the code base. I did a little UI overhaul, focused on realm and town management, which is pretty important, which helps the game to scale across different users. Currently we're supporting up to 8 into a town, or into a realm situation. I'll explain that in a little bit. And then farm permissions. If you're going to have just random people walking onto your farm, you probably don't want to let them just harvest your crops, but maybe you do. This will allow you to give permissions to people on a user-to-user basis about what they can and can't do to your farm. And then finally, we started working on some new character animations, but I'm not going to show those in this video just yet. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, so the first big thing was just kind of tightening up the multiplayer system, as well as doing various refactors. In Godot, I will say, if you have bugs, call deferred is probably your friend, and I sprinkled call deferred throughout the code base in a lot of situations. What it does, in brief, is it will execute some code, but it will wait till the frame is done drawing, so you don't do anything weird while the frame is drawing, which can often cause Godot to crash. So a lot of stability issues, as well as moving some code from last year's prototype client-based multiplayer architecture to the new server authenticated architecture. And this is very simply for getting people on the same screen at the same time, basically. What is a set of code that announces that you're a player and you are going into a shared space, etc., etc. It used to be really ping-pongy and inefficient due to the fact that I set this up without an authenticated server, or a server handling all of the multiplayer information, I should say. But now that I did that, it's a little bit cleaner and less crash oriented, especially with regards to the community farm. The other big thing was just a lot of UI cleanup. This is not a final UI in any way, but it is slightly more consistent than the previous user interface, and maybe most importantly, the window is resizable now, allowing a lot of different dimensions. If you have a crazy full screen monitor, it will take advantage of it, but also down the road we should be able to support things like phones and the Switch pretty easily, at least as far as video resolution is concerned. So TBD on a lot of the other things. Okay, so the other big thing, and maybe the biggest thing that was done during this period of time, was setting up the idea of realms versus simply dungeons. So this is basically an answer to the question of how does this game scale? And the answer to that question is, as people sign into the game servers, realms are created. Now the realms are limited to a certain number of users. Right now I have them limited to 8. So every time 8 people join, they will be joined together in what we're calling a realm, which basically, for the game purposes, it represents the town. So they'll be sharing experience where they're in the same area, in the same town, and that happens at the realm level. However, individual scenes in the realm, such as the town that stitches together everyone's farms, are dungeons. So each realm supports as many dungeons as necessary to draw that realm's town. So the point of organizing by each realm is then to have dungeons spawn up and down based on whether or not users in that realm or players are going into different areas of the realm, such as the town area, as you can see here. So all that management is basically meant to just help the game scale over time. 8 is kind of a little bit of a limit. I mostly set that up because it's hard to manage more than 8 windows at the same time when you're just one person testing a multiplayer game. I've done some light tests, and then almost exclusively internationally. Shout out to Grimbone, etc., everyone on Twitch that's helped me out with that. And the game seems to work. What I will say is, with near consistency, when there are crashes and issues, it's always on the client, aka the code that this guy wrote, and really never on the server code, which I'm very grateful for. The server code runs very consistently so far, and I am looking forward to seeing if it can scale. And I feel pretty confident given the backing that I can. Just as long as I can get this guy to write less crashy code, which, you know, we'll see. Alright. Okay, so now that you can just wander onto anyone's farm, I wanted to make sure that there would be a permissions system. So this was the last concrete thing I did in this quarter, was to set up a permissions kind of schema. So I am the guest on this person's farm. Let's see what happens when I till. I don't have permission to till soil on this farm. Now this person, they can till all they want. But me, I can't do this. What about harvesting? Can I use my pickaxe to break up this rock? Same message. I don't have permission to forage. A little different, actually. When I said harvesting, I meant foraging. Now, sometimes, because this is an older build, it can trigger a little bit of a blinky crash. That's okay. We're still in the game. It's fine. No actual crash. But how could I give permissions? Let's just take a look at that. In my other window real quick, I am going to go to Realm. Not the best UI, most straightforward, but I'm going to, for now, right-click and hit Farm Permissions. And then I'm going to say, you know what? I'll give you permission to till. And then if I go over here, I can now till freely. However, can I use the pickaxe now? Nope. I can't forage. So, you know what? Okay, I'll give you permission to forage. I hit save. Walk away, just make sure it loads, and then, bam, I can hit the rocks real quick. So that's just a real simple permission system. It saves all the information in the back end, which validates everything for you. The UI could be a little bit better, as is for pretty much everything in the game. But it is a good start to setting up permissions for the various farms that you'll have control over, such that if you want to give someone else full permission to walk onto your farm when you're not on, just do whatever you can. And maybe lesser permissions and more granular permissions as we see fit and can explain. Then we'll build them out as the game gets built. All right. If I look at the end of this quarter, you can see pretty much June. I'm mostly just working with the artist to make a new set of character animations and communicating, but I'll be honest, the George Floyd dying and then all the protests and everything kind of took me out. A lot of ups and downs that month. Pretty depressing overall, considering we're here in October and things are the way they are, but hey, we don't talk about that kind of stuff here. We only talk about video games. Next update, when we go into quarter 3, pretty exciting update. Set up a lot of really interesting things on the business end of this project, so I'll try to summarize those from a technical perspective, as well as some of the other things I did in the game, and hopefully I can show you those new character animations at the least. But alright, otherwise, take care, and I'll try to put that video out in the next few weeks. Be safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. Alright, and you better vote. Take it easy.